So this player nearly hit the first page of the leaderboards, being currently ranked at 58, but the Pokemon they used was ridiculous. Let's take a look at which Pokemon they used, but not only that, they also sent us some footage with their team, and the team is this following one. We're going to have the Shadow Charizard in the lead, then we have the Third as a Face-Up, and we're going to have the Bewear as a closer. Bewear is going to be the main star of today's show here, of course, but let's take a look here at the team, and it looks honestly quite solid on paper. The only Pokemon that worries me is going to be Altaria, so let's see how they can deal with it. We start off with a great matchup here for you in the lead, which is going to be the Charizard against that Annihilape. Why is it so great? It's because you have two normal type Pokemon in the back, and that usually wouldn't be able to really deal with that Annihilape that easily. And you're going to be able to outspeed them here with your Shadow Charizard, which will allow you to definitely have a bit of a better matchup. That being said, they still have a lot of fast move pressure against you, which can be quite annoying. As now the air cutters coming through, I hope you can still reach another one. You would be able if you shield here, but it's very likely that the opponent would want to swap out of here. So do you expect this? You do expect this near swap out into your own Bewear against the opponent's Carbink. But you have to be a bit careful here. You have to go for the superpower in time, because they have of course access to the move Moonblast, which is going to one-shot you from this range as well. But you can get off 2 superpower on this Pokemon, which will allow you to put it into range, where one Trailblaze is going to be enough to knock this Pokemon out. And so you're now in the position where you're going to still have your Charizard available for yourself, and you can go for a Trailblaze against the opponent's Carbink in order to knock them out with the perfect energy management. We will see here now very likely a fighting type coming back in. It's going to be the Chestnut, as you're going to be able to reach your Charizard to go for the Air Cutter and trying to knock them out. And this is a very smart play. Air Cutter is going to be able to knock them out, but not only this, you also gained enough energy to go for a Trailblaze in order to knock out the opponent's Annihilape, winning this battle against honestly a very tough matchup there. So next up, we're going to have here the Dedenne. Dedenne is going to be a Pokemon that you kind of don't really have the best answer against. Like, all of your Pokemon kind of struggle a little bit against it. Your best way of dealing with it, is I assume, is going for a bait here and trying to hit a Blast Burn later on. If you go for a bait and it's successful, you would be able to reach your Blast Burn in time before the opponent can go for anything else. But in this case, the opponent decides to just let the first move go through, but not the second one, which allows you at least to get one shield. And you kind of want to try to get another shield in order for your third later on to still get to another move here. But actually, you decide to swap out of here. That's interesting. We will see the player off actually coming through, which is going to put you into 2-shot range. But they swap out. They swap out into Superior. This is not really something I would have expected here, but Superior is honestly a Pokemon that I think is very good in the current meta. It's a bulky grass-type Pokemon, and honestly, grass types are very solid in the meta where the ground types are currently dominating, where water-type Pokemon are currently dominating. And as you will see here, there's going to be the Frenzy Plant coming through that's going to knock you out. And you're not in the best spot. You're absolutely not in the best spot, but you still have your Charizard, and you play your Charizard really, really well. You allowed yourself here to get up to an Air Cutter, knocking them out, but still leaving you with yet another Air Cutter, which is going to go through against the opponent's Dusknoir. With the boost here, you might be able to get a shield, but you do not. And now it's down to Bewear, but I don't think that Bewear is going to be able to win this one here, because Bewear would need to survive a Dynamic Punch here, which it is not going to be able to do, and so we have to move on to the next opponent. Where Florges awaits. This is going to be a very tough matchup yet again. I feel like this team has a few problems against certain teams, but the thing is as well, this player plays it so well that they still were able to get up to rank to page 2 basically on the leaderboards, which is really, really respectable. As you'll see here, the Arcana is coming through against the Florges again. They are not falling for your bait, which is really unfortunate for you, but the second one is going to get shielded this time around, and you can catch the move onto the forward, which now allows you to not use a shield, but still being able to outspeed them here, I think, as well. Swift should be coming through first, but you decide to go for the next one, because I guess the opponent wins Team Pitta anyway, so you just try to maximize the amount of energy that you have. As I swap out into a Stunfisk, which is really unfortunate for you, especially as you have access to Trailblaze, which would be the stronger move here to go for. It is better for you to swap out anyway because you're double debuffed. And so you swap out into your Bewear, taking the hit here from the opponent. Let's see how it's gonna go. Discharge actually does not as much damage as expected. And we will see here as well that the opponent goes for a Mud Bomb. Now Discharge was there to cover the potential swap out into the Charizard. Very smart by the opponent. But now the superpower is going to land and going to hit quite hard, which you see here as well. Getting them super low, and even another superpower is going to be reached. This is the benefit of running Bewear. This Pokemon has a Shadow Claw as a false move, allowing it to get to a move very fast. I didn't see the floor just coming in, but that's kind of crazy. Bewear still just looks about. But you're going to be able to get your move super, super fast there. And that's the benefit of this Pokemon. That's literally the benefit of this Pokemon, getting to those moves super fast. But here also, Charizard is going to get to its Blast Burn super fast now, because we're going to have a lot of energy advantage here. They're going to stop onto a Dusknoir. You can just go straight for the Blast Burn. Just knocking them out here through the Protect Shield, because there was no way that they would have shielded this one. They had to kind of call the bait in order to win the battle. Scizor in the lead, of course, is going to be fantastic for you, as they're going to swap onto Thievel. Thievel is going to be an interesting Pokemon here, as this thing can... Yeah, actually, I think you're not too happy that you went for the charge move there. No, think about it. Because, yes, they have access to Play Rough on the Thievel, which they gotta go for now as well. But if you just swap out straight into your Bewear, I think you will just be able to just one-shot them the entire time with your superpower. And you're actually gonna let the move go, thinking it's going to be not the Play Rough. You're actually really great at keeping track in the opponent's energy, because that was very close, I feel like, to the Play Rough. But the opponent is going to just go for the Night Slash, allowing you to reach yet another charge move. Superpower is coming through again. It's a stab move and stronger than the payback for you. But the opponent decides to use a shield here, and Charizard is now going to be aligned against the opponent's Scizor. And of course, we see the shield coming up here with Charizard having some energy already. It could be very strong against the backline, but it's going to be here now Azumarill swapping in. And Azumarill is going to be very tough for you. While you have Trailblaze here, your first move is going to be resisted, and Azumarill has amazing bulk, which means we have to see how Third is going to prevail here. We have the charge move coming through. It's going to be the Hydro Pump as well, which makes it all a little bit more awkward. Are you going to go for the bait? You're going to go for the bait. I feel like this is the only way of having a chance of winning this one, because if you can go for 2 Swifts as well, you would be able to put them into range for the Charizard's Air Cutter. But as you see as well, you're going to be trying to go for the CMP tie against the Scizor. It doesn't work out there. I guess you want to go for your move a little bit earlier, but you had to try to get as much energy as possible. Good game to the opponent. We can move on to a very tough matchup. So, Gyarados in the lead. You would be able to outspeed the Gyarados with the Charizard, which honestly would be mostly what I would have tried to do here, but you have an ABB style line anyway, so trying to swap out of here into your Third can help you out as well. You should be able to take any kind of hit, and with that, take the Zero Shield scenario here from the opponent. As you see the Swift coming through, you of course only need to hit a few bubbles at this point in order to force the KO, or yeah, the shield in this case, and we can go ahead and see the shield coming up from the Charizard most likely here. Never mind, they decided to let the move go. That is interesting. They kind of want to keep the shields for the Bewear, which is going to go up against that Gyarados very soon. I guess it makes sense. That's an interesting play. We see the Air Cutter coming through, getting the shield here, and now the opponent is shieldless, and Bewear is in a position to sweep, hopefully. We will see the Awkward here coming in, and you're very likely going to try to get as much energy as possible here. And what you can do even with a Bewear is you could go for a Superpower to knock them out and then swap out later on into your Charizard, but they swap out here already into the Diggersby. And 2 Superpowers should be enough to knock them out, but you have to be a bit mindful because you need to have a little bit extra energy in order to deal with the opponent's Gyarados here. So let's see if the superpower is actually enough. It is enough to knock them out, and you got a little bit extra energy. But you also were able to catch the move here from the opponent, which is perfect. The Awkward here is coming through, and in comes on the superpower to take down the Gyarados. Very well played here. So let's take a look at the next opponent. We have the Cradily, and this is going to be a matchup where you're going to be able to outspeed them, which is great for the Charizard. You can just go basically straight for their Blast Burn. They need 7 and 6 fast moves to get to their charge moves, and you always kind of need 6 and I think even 5 for the final move there for the Blast Burn, I think. So like it's actually really fast to get to the Blast Burn with a Charizard, which is kind of nice. As they swap out now into a Talonflame, where you don't have the best answer for it, to be fair. But you go for an Air Cutter and then into the Third. The Air Cutter just allowed you to put them into Swift range, so like that was a very smart move. And now Third could even take the first hit from the opponent, as they decide that shields don't exist. Like, I've not seen a play like this, and I don't understand a play like this either. You can take a hit here. Hydrocan is not enough to knock you out. The next one would have been enough to knock you out with a fast move pressure in between. We're very likely going to see a shield now, but you can swap out into your Charizard again, which now has an energy lead, will be able to outspeed the opponent all the time as well. The Cradily comes in, which you can farm down, and now you have 2 Blast Burns stored, and that's going to be a good game. There's nothing the opponent can do here. The Bewear is not even going to hit the field, as Charizard will take home this battle. Next opponent here, I think it's actually Paulasha. We're going to have the Shadow Talonflame in the lead. A Pokemon that I feel like is better in the back, but again, like this is at 3,250, what do I know? Like those are very talented players here, of course, that are running this team. As you're gonna see, we're going to be able to go for the air cutter against the opponent. This is going to allow us to get some damage there, or like get a shield there at least. And Charizard's doing great currently against the opponent's Talonflame. Yes, the Talonflame is going to go down. Charizard's still standing. And we see the third coming in. And of course, against third, you can go into the Bewear. Bewear has access to Superpower, would most day one-shot it. But not only this, we're also going to be able to resist the fast move. The Sucker Punch from that third, which is going to be great for this matchup here. You're going to be forced to use a shield. But this is fine. You have Superpower. And Superpower is going to be a lot of damage. That is going to be, yeah, very good here for you generally. And going up for one extra over is actually really cool as well. As I stop on into the Gastrodon, very well anticipated, as now you're going to be able to go into your third, which is now in a position to go for that Trailblaze. A double super effective Trailblaze. And this is going to be doing so much damage. It's going to be enough damage to knock them out. And with that, you're even going to be able to reach a Swift, and this is going to be a good game. Why? Because there's still going to be that superpower stored on the Bewear, which is easily enough to knock out, of course, a third from this range. You win the Team Pitta, and Bewear is, I guess, the hidden meta breaker in the current meta. That's kind of ridiculous. Next opponent, Magcargo team. That is going to be a tough one. They're running Incinerate still this season. I had actually a cool Magcargo team last season as well. I used, I think, Magcargo. I forgot the rest actually. Good job, me. If you remember my Magcargo team, then let me know down below. I know it was a Primeape Say-Swap. I think Shadow Primeape with Ice Punch Say-Swap. And in the back, it wasn't a Whimsicott, but it was some other Grass-type Pokemon. I think it was Superior. I'm not sure. But anyway, I had Legend last season, I think, with Magcargo. So, yeah, this season I hit Legend with Lurantis and Dedenne and third. So, that's also cool. Honestly, I'm very happy that I hit Legend with Lurantis this season of all the Pokemon. But, yeah, we're going to see here. The Whimsicott going for the Moonblast is not going to do that much, but they're going to get the 10% chance to drop your attack. That is going to be quite awkward for you. As now, the Swap Out comes in for the opponent into the Jellicent. You can easily take a hit. But the benefit here is you have the Shadow Claw, which is super effective, and you have Payback, which very likely is going to see the field for the first time here very soon. As a Payback is going to be quite a hard-hitting Dark-type move here. We are going to have the Payback coming through now. This is going to do a lot of damage if it would connect, but they're very likely... Oh, they're actually going to let the move go. Yeah, keeping everything for the Magcargo, I guess, makes sense with the Charizard still in the back there lurking. We see the Superpower coming in. You're kind of going to be forced to, yeah, catch the move here. You would have needed to go for a charge move there as well. But like this, don't think that the Bewear is going to be able to win against this Magcargo. And yeah, we're sadly going to see the KO there. And we can see now the battle against Weedle. Who is running Clodsire? Clodsire is a Pokemon that is quite difficult for at least Bewear to deal with, as your Superpower is going to be resisted. But for Charizard, you're actually going to be able to outspeed this thing. But you're not going to be able to win the Zero Shields. But I think you win every other shield scenario against this Pokemon very likely here, because you can just go for the Air Cutter at this point. Air Cutter would be enough to knock them out. You definitely win the 2 shields if you land a Blast Burn. So we see here, we see the shield coming up from the opponent here, from Weedle as well. As we see the Stone Edge coming in, as we see the Swap Out now into a Blastoise. And I find it interesting they go for a charge move, but I guess it's going to put them into Trailblaze range now, which is usually not the case otherwise. But you could even go for the Swift Spam now even at this point, so that could be an idea as well. We see the Hydrocan coming through. 2 Hydrocans are not even enough to knock out the third. And yes, we see the Swift Spam here against the opponent's Blastoise, which is going to put them into range now where you can farm down. So, you still have energy on the Charizard. The third is going to go down here very soon. It's going to be Spidops in the back. Interesting to see Spidops on Weedle's side. A Pokemon that, yeah, I have tried recently. I don't think it's the greatest, especially here in a matchup like this. Every move is going to be resisted, and so you can even overfarm a ton. Like, you don't need to throw any move anytime soon. And you can even swap out if you want to. But this one, you don't even really need to swap out here right now. You can just go for your charge move. It doesn't really matter. Payback is coming in here. That's really cool. It is going to be able to knock out the opponent there. They're going to swap out into the Clodsire. But like, even at this point, Clodsire is not in a position where it really can do anything. So I feel like Bewear is in a position where it can sweep everything. As you see the Charizard coming in and taking out the opponent's Clodsire here. This is going to be enough to knock that one out. The Blast comes in. And Bewear is in a position to sweep. And Weedle is forfeiting here. Letting their world champ forfeit is of course cool. What is also cool is to see a team with Ampharos lead in the top meta ranks. That is wild. Just a random Ampharos that's even non-shadow as a lead here. Alright. something new, I guess, every day. Ampharos is actually kind of nice. It has, of course, Volt Switch, which got buffed this season. It has Brutal Swing, which is a move that, yeah, is great coverage against especially the Ghost-type Pokemon of this meta. And you have Trailblaze, which is going to allow you to hit those Ground-type Pokemon, which you usually wouldn't be able to hit. So now I'm kind of intrigued of Ampharos, if this Pokemon is actually really good. I wanted to always take a look at like some of the new Volt Switch users anyway. But as we will see here, Trailblaze is coming in. And yeah, this Pokemon here itself is going to do a lot of damage. Brutal Swing is coming in now. Next, and we see the swap out into Torterra. Luckily for you, for Torterra, we still have the Charizard. And Charizard will be in a very solid position. The issue is if Torterra is running the move Stone Edge. And so, if they're running the move Stone Edge, your best interest is basically to go straight for the Air Cutter. And that's exactly what you're going to do, trying to cover the potential option that the opponent has the Stone Edge. It's not going to be enough to knock them out, but it's going to be enough to put them into range for your Bewear to knock them out. And that's all you kind of need. Stone Edge is coming through, and with that, you should be able to win against this Ampharos, even though that was a very cool team. And we can move on to the final opponent for today's video, where we'll face a Dusclops. By the way, if you enjoyed the video, of course, so far, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. For me, it's not very difficult to, of course, judge the team. Those are the battles I have seen so far. There have been some Pokemon that I feel like are a little bit problematic for this team. One of them is Dedenne. If you don't face Dedenne that often in the higher up Edo range, then this team makes a lot more sense. But otherwise, you have always the option to deal with Pokemon. But I feel like it is sometimes in certain matchups a bit more tougher. So yeah, it is still a team, of course, that got you up to rank 58 on the leaderboards. It's a creative team with a Bewear, which is very respectable. And so I can't really say anything towards that otherwise, but it looks like a fun team. So if you want to run something fun, especially with Bewear now being cool with the costume there, sadly you cannot get it in the wild, so you're not going to be able to get it with PvP IVs unless you trade it. There are quests that you can do this today as well, which will allow you basically to get the Bewear as well, I think, from that. So like I think it's like to go for one excellent throw, and I think quests also reset every hour, which is kind of nice to have. Yeah, basically that could be an idea, but otherwise Bewear is best without a costume. We see here Bewear against the Azumarill. And I don't think that you're going to be able to win this final battle here. If you win this, I would be very much surprised. The reason for this is, of course, that we are currently in a state where you don't have any really super effective move against them. But at least you have a lot of energy, I guess. That could still work out for you. We see here yet another charge move coming in. I guess Blast move even made more sense here. Now might you actually still get another move. So maybe you can still win against that Azumarill. I think it actually looks not very solid because of all the energy that the Charizard had here. And yes, you are going to be able to win this final battle, which is ridiculous. Coming back from this one is kind of wild. We see the superpower coming in from Bewear to finish up this video as well. Thanks so much for staying in the battles. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and let's check out here how much even they gain with this team here. This is, yeah, very, very cool. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.